If it is or if it ain't, it's going to come out. Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love. Your daily dose of inspiration and juice. It is September the 23rd, 2022. 2023. 2023, and today the topic is surrender. Happy Saturday, y'all. Happy Saturday. I hope that you all had a wonderful Friday. Mine was just fine, y'all. Those that tune in live, y'all might have seen me chuckling real quick before I started to record, and that is because I just happened to go to the Strong's Concordance because the time was really standing out to me. Like right before I hit live, or before, like when I was signing on, 608 had came into my mind, and when I hit live, it was 608. And I was like, oh, okay. I go to the Strong's Concordance. 608 said, one of the words said ye. And then the other one said, shut up. And I'm like, you rebuke devil in Jesus' name. So listen. Even the enemy would try to speak to you through the numbers and through the Strongs and all that different type of stuff. But, to God be the glory. Pushing through, rebuking the devil this morning and moving forward. There was another number that stood out to me, and I might check it afterwards. But yeah, I thought that was humorous. But to God be the glory again and everything like that. And I'm here, and I'm not shutting up, and I'm going to go ahead and share this juice today about surrender, which seems very familiar, to be honest. I feel like I've been talking about this every other week or something, but I don't know. I mean, I don't tend to go back and check and stuff like that. So if I've been talking about surrender like every weekend, I have no clue. But basically, I felt led to talk about it again today. And hey, I feel like the Lord has something to say through little old me. So, yeah, let me tell you guys first, thank you so much for those that tuned in to the GSL Talk Show last night. I hope that the conversation encouraged you, inspire you. If you guys missed it, don't worry, just go to GodSexAndLove.com. It should be our featured episode for the next week. So yeah, go learn more about Miss Jenny Alexander and everything like that. Yesterday was a chill day. I guess in some ways a do nothing day, but I did want to tell you guys, or just make a documentation of this cool thing that I've been doing with NJ. So basically, you guys know that he takes classes virtually and things like that, and right now he's doing that on Mondays and Wednesdays. So on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, on those alternate days, I've been trying to work with him on like doing some apps and like doing some math and things like that. And so we had some cute moments yesterday, man. And at some point, I've been trying to push him, you know what I mean? Like one of the games is like a math or an adding game. And so it's like I'm there with him, it's like you get to shoot a monster if you pick the right number. And so he's counting my fingers and things like that right now, but he's already got the hang that 2 hands represents 10 and stuff like that. But I've been trying to push him to get the 3 stars at the end. Like sometimes he might get 1 or something like that. So I made a deal yesterday. I was like, son, if whenever you get the 3 stars, mommy's going to order some pizza. And he didn't get it like the first time that I made that, when we made that deal. I think it took him 2 more times after that to get the whole 3 stars. But when he did it, he just seemed like so happy, like he was so proud of himself. And I'm like, son, I'm proud of you, And he's like, I'm so proud of you too, because you helped me. And I'm like, you know what, son, you're gonna make me cry. Such a sweet, cute moment, man. and everything. And then afterwards, we did another app. I don't know if you parents are out there listening to me or whatever the case may be. So I don't know the name of the math app, but like I said, it's something about monsters is on it, which don't sound good, but basically it's just, these cute little monsters that you just throwing stuff at. But anyway, and then the other app is the Khan Academy. I saw some people talking about it, I think on Facebook, and I was like, let me check it out. They say it's free, X, Y, and Z. So I downloaded it and whatnot. And so, yeah, it's been good, but I noticed that his attention started to wane a little bit, and I think maybe he might be a little bit too advanced for the level that I got him on. So I might uh update it, because at the same time it's teaching some fundamental stuff that I think he still might need, but I don't know. So we'll see about that second app. But yeah, the math app has been very good to practice that stuff with him. So just throwing it out there for any other parents that might be, looking for some things to work with on their with their kids. Speaking of that, we are a affiliate of True Play, which we haven't downloaded that app yet. So I'll be honest about it, but it is a Christian based app with several different games. If you guys go to actressmiraclesims.com, you'll see a True Play link. Go check it out. That's another alternative game and app and things like that for your kids. Just throwing that out there, since I was sitting here talking about apps and stuff. So that's basically the main thing. Yesterday, we ordered our pizzas, so we had like a midday pizza party. We watched a movie. He picked this really cool movie. But it seemed very, like, I don't know when the movie was made, but it seemed like a movie that I would have watched like when I was a kid. Like, it had what's his name in it? The dude that played George of the Jungle. I don't remember his name right now. Y'all probably know it. But it had him in it as the main guy. And it was like the animals was protecting the forest, and it was like real animals or real looking animals. It was interesting, and NJ chose the movie, and I was like, okay, make me feel like, a little, I don't know what, nostalgia or something, watching that type of film, because it seemed, the humor and everything seemed very like films back in the day, so that was interesting and whatnot. And I think we watched another movie after that. Tom and Jerry. Yeah, we ended up watching Tom and Jerry, the Tom and Jerry movie, after that, and that was pretty good too. So anywho, yeah, that's my Friday, man. Those were the highlights. Those were like some cool moments. My husband came in, y'all, was talking about some good stuff, man. I guess different things the Lord has been revealing to him. I'm like, listen, husband, now, like, look, you over here trying to look, butter me up over here talking about Jesus. Well, anyway, I guess all of that goes hand in hand in some way, because when it comes back to this conversation about surrender, so basically, I listened to the prayer meditation this morning with the Soul Space app, you already know, and afterwards, I want to say, after I listened to it, the word surrender just came into my heart and mind. It wasn't that the topic was about surrendering per se, but I'm trying to remember. I feel like it coincides with this conversation. Oh, I know it started off talking about like doubting Thomas and things like that. And then towards the end, it just pretty much lets us know that we don't have to be defined by our doubts, right? We don't have to be defined by, I guess, asking questions and things like that, or any of those things. And so, kind of the conversation kind of goes hand in hand in a way. But like I said, I was focused on this word surrender this morning, because I mean, obviously, I know my journey was surrendering. I mean, obviously it took me, a few minutes, and I say minutes, but I mean years to obviously get to where I am today. And I'm not sitting here acting like I'm perfect or nothing, but I'm trying my best to surrender and everything like that. I'm still holding strong to the things I've told y'all over the past few weeks and whatnot. I noticed, a shift in my thinking when it comes to all of that. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then I'm talking about the whole masturbation situation. You guys, I have videos of me like years ago explaining all of that. If you guys want to, you can get my book as well. That should explain a lot of that stuff and whatnot as well. I won't go into all of that today. But yeah, I mean, basically, if I paraphrase real quick about the situation, I would say over the past month or so, or maybe at least few weeks, I don't know because I didn't document it or whatever the case is, but I guess I've been challenging myself mentally to just let that part of myself go. Um, I think perhaps it probably is coming between me and my husband. I also think perhaps that God is wanting to take me into another level spiritually, to be able to come to y'all and tell y'all about self-control and things of that nature and whatever else beyond that. And so it's been something that I've been actively doing my best to not engage in. And I can't say that I haven't been tempted here or there, but for the most part, I noticed that the temptation hasn't been as strong as previous years or times or whatever. So, day by day, man, step by step, day by day, I'm surrendering this part of myself to the Lord, and I believe getting stronger each time. Now, I'm not, yeah, we know how the enemy do. And the enemy was trying to tell me to shut up even before I went live here. So obviously he's gonna always try to, rear his ugly head or whatever the case may be. But I just pray for strength and wisdom and everything as I continue to submit right to the Lord and everything like that. And so I hope that this encourages and inspires you for whatever God is, putting on you in your heart. I mean, I definitely have had several conversations over the past, I guess, few months or years or whatever. And I get it. This idea of surrendering to the Lord can be kind of scary in some ways, right? It can kind of feel like it hurts in some ways because you feel like you're losing a part of yourself. How else can you feel with the idea of surrendering? Sometimes again, if we're sitting here doubting if God's even real or if the Bible's true or any of that type of stuff, that obviously can make surrendering difficult and whatnot as well. And I get it, right? I get each and every one of those things. But I can say the more that I've surrendered to the Lord and allowed Him to lead and guide my life, the more peace I have. Obviously, the stronger I am. And everything like that. And so, I mean, I believe that there's a better trade-off when you start to surrender to the Lord at the end of the day. Like, the only thing I can tell you guys is, hey, try it and see, and some people may be like, oh, I've already tried and I didn't like X, Y, and Z. Well, no one said you're going to fully like everything. You know what I mean? Like, who were you to think that everything is going to be pieces of cream and that you're going to just enjoy and like every aspect of God's will and way for you, there's often things I question, I think I've been very transparent on this platform of my ups and downs, like I said months ago when I was struggling with, and I haven't fully told y'all yet, but I was struggling with some things behind the scenes. And, I was giving up on some things and I was just like, you know what, Lord, obviously this isn't meant to be. But here I am months later, as I surrendered to the Lord, he worked everything out in my favor. And then ultimately here I am months later, on the brink of the promise, on the brink of seeing things come into fruition. And so, again, I mean, we might not like the process. We might not like, again, the things that the Bible is telling us to do, turning the other cheek and allowing God to fight our battles. And, even the whole repenting thing and all that stuff can be difficult. And you're like, why? What's the point? I get it. I've been there and whatnot as well. But I mean, seeing my life today, I totally understand the point of all the things I've been through in my past. And so, you may not understand, until later on, or you may not even see the fruit or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, I believe that, again, with the peace and everything else that comes from obedience, it's worth it, and I can't even say it's an even trade-off. At the end of the day, it's a higher trade-off than you can even imagine. Like, again, as I sit here and bask in, the marriage that I have, the child that I have, all the different things, I'm like, I wouldn't trade it for the world, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't compare to anything that I could think that my life could have been without surrendering, right? Without trusting the Lord fully and things like that. And so, I hope these things encourage you and inspire you. I'm going to get to some verses and whatnot, because, I mean, obviously I could sit here and just share my testimony all day long. But yeah, y'all, surrender is the word of the day. So let's check out the definition. Now, I'm pretty sure, like I said, I've shared this definition probably time and time and time again. But, there are some things that kind of stood out to me today. So here it is. It says, cease resistance to an enemy or opponent and submit to their authority. What really stood out to me this morning as I was writing this definition down was the part that says cease resistance. At the end of the day, we got to start ceasing the resistance to God, His will, His way. If you truly want to change in your life, if you truly want to see the fruits of your labor or see God work in your life and things like that, then you need to cease resistance. You can't keep, bumping heads with the Lord and then, being confused about why things aren't going the way you truly desire for them to go. At the end of the day, like I said, I had to be honest with myself about, the things I needed to change, the things, and be honest with myself about what it was that I truly wanted. And at the end of the day, when I was reflecting on those things, I guess during the cultivation period and whatnot, again, the Lord was showing me. He was showing me places I need to improve, things I need to do better, and things I needed to let go of. And I'm not sitting here acting like I was perfect. There was a time where I was doing my best to do those things. And then right after that, I fell again. You know what I'm saying? And everything like that. And those that know my testimony, y'all already know. I don't want to get too deep into all of that unless the Lord wants me to. But basically what I'm saying is we got to start ceasing the resistance to the Lord. And I know this definition says to an enemy or an opponent, but see, here's another thing that we got to really think about and consider. That as I was going deeper about this, I did go to gotquestions.org, and there are articles that I put in the Go Deeper section, the ones that I was reading and whatnot. And the first one was talking about what does it mean to surrender to God. Now, the interesting thing that was standing out to me as I was reading that article is it was telling me, if I'm not mistaken, it might have been that article or maybe the second one, but either one of the articles was saying that by default, we are opponents or enemies of God because we are born into sin. We are born into the situation, the fallen state of what happened when Adam and Eve did what they did. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the thing. At the end of the day, we may not think of ourselves as enemies to God. We might not think of Him as our opponent and things like that. But right from the beginning, once we get to the age of accountability, you're already an enemy of God. And so you have to start, you have to resist that temptation. You have to surrender in order to truly be a child of God. And hey, I don't know if this is just reiterating all of this, but I did come across a post yesterday that confirmed the things again that I had learned throughout the season of the juice, y'all. Unfortunately, we are not all God's children. I know that's a nice little song and stuff like that. And yes, we are all made in His image. Yes, He made all of us. Yes, in that regard. But in regards to how we live our life and things like that, we are not all God's children. So therefore, you need to surrender to God in order to become His child and in order to be adopted into His kingdom and things of that nature. And so it's not the easiest thing to do, and I get that, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, this is, I guess, step one, surrendering, making a conscious decision, like choosing, I guess, yeah, like the Bible says, ye this day who you going to serve. And in order to truly be a child of God, we got to stop resisting Him, stop resisting Him and His way and things of that nature. And then the other thing that stood out to me just in this definition is the part that's talking about submitting to their authority. Like at the end of the day, yes, we got to submit to God's authority. Submit to what His word has to say. Like, yeah, you can have all the questions, and there's nothing wrong with having the questions. Even like Doubting Thomas, right? He had the questions, he wanted to make sure. And, there's nothing wrong with that per se. But once you make sure, right, once you get into the word and things of that nature, then you got a choice to make. And that is whether you're going to surrender or not, whether you're going to, again, follow His will and way or not. I know that's one thing my husband was talking about, I guess, in regards to revelations that he had been receiving, is that, the whole concept of, again, it being more than just quote unquote believing. Like, everybody can sit here and say, oh yeah, I believe in Jesus, but your life is going to say whether you believe in Jesus or not by the way you live. If you believe in Jesus, then you will try and strive to be more like him. You would surrender to his will and way. You would do what he did at bare minimum. And so, again, like, yeah, this is just the definition of surrender, y'all. But that's what was really standing out to me. So I did come across a biblical explanation for the word surrender, and it says a believer completely gives up his own will and subjects his thoughts, ideas, and deeds to the will and teaching of a higher power. We believe that higher power is Jesus Christ, and everything like that. And so that's who you got to be subjecting or surrendering your thoughts, ideas, deeds, and will to. That means regardless of how I feel, regardless of the quote unquote pope that's in the Bible, which y'all know to me means things you don't like or things you don't understand, regardless of those things, we have to submit our thinking and all of those things to those words. We might not like it. Again, you know what I mean? Like, we might not, again, fully understand it. We're like, what does this mean? What does that mean? And you can seek the Lord for the wisdom, but regardless of how we feel about it, we have to surrender and submit in order to truly, I guess, be followers of him. At the end of the day, again, it says thoughts, ideas, and deeds. So that means putting aside your own idea, putting aside your own thoughts, and what you want to do. Put all those things to the side and surrendering to what the Bible tells you to do. So that means, again, you might have to lay down your right for somebody else's wrong, as they say. You might have to, again, turn the other cheek and allow God to fight your battle. You might have to, instead of passing the homeless person by, stop them and help them however you can. There might be things that God is asking you to do that, again, you may not fully understand or like, but if you're going to be a believer, that's what you got to do. Surrender. Again, what's that definition say? Cease resistance. And I mean, you'll become more at peace about doing it. Like, it won't be so hard at some point, because you just the more you practice to do it, then you'll see the beautiful part of doing it. But if you're still in the place where you're struggling with that, right? You're like, I don't want to give up what I want, or I don't want to give up what I think, or things like that. Then you're going to continue to see the calamity in your life. Unfortunately, and again, the longer you take, I mean, the longer you're forfeiting the life that God has for you, the blessings that God has for you. Like, that's another thing that the article was going deeper about. At the end of the day, like, God wants you to submit to him because he has a perfect plan for you, and that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. Like, you can go and try to do your own will and way and stuff like that, but you're never going to find peace. You're never going to be fully happy and everything like that. And I know that might be, again, some more Pope, and y'all don't want to think that and stuff. But again, as somebody that has, lived a little bit, again, the more that I was pursuing my own things, the more I felt, the mental battle, the more I felt, discouraged, the more I felt depressed at times, the more I was in a hermit stage, whatever. There was a lot of things going on where I just was like in this mental warfare and spiritual warfare. But then now, I can sit here and say, hey man, I am basking in the abundance of, God's grace and mercy and peace. Regardless of what I'm going through. Like, yeah, there's still ups and downs. Yeah, there still might be some tumultuous things. Yeah, the enemy's still tempting one way or another, right? But at the end of the day, I'm here to tell you guys, I've been more strong. I've been more at peace, and I'm thankful. I'm just thankful and grateful every day. And I'm just one human, y'all. At the end of the day, whatever you guys see that is good in me, or that y'all desire, whatever the case is, he can do the same for you. He's no respecter of persons in that regard. Like, at the end of the day, all you have to do is surrender and Trust him, his will and way. And you'll see him working in your life, and you'll be at peace with his plan for your life and things of that nature. Again, like the pastor told me back in the day, and that's one of the things that put me on track, y'all. You gotta make God's wants your wants, and then you're gonna get what you want. That's what it is at the end of the day. The more that you continue to resist, then you're never going to get probably what your true desires are. You know, and that's why I say start off by being honest with yourself about whatever your true desires are. Now, if your true desires is evil and whatnot, then I guess, then I guess you will get that if you continue to stay opposed to the Lord. But if your true desires are the fruits and the things that he has, then you got to line yourself up with what he wants. You got to line yourself up with, again, his will and way, his ideas and everything like that. I done said a lot there. Let me keep going. I want to share some verses with you all. Here are the verses that were standing out to me this morning. Isaiah 45:22 says, "Turn to me and be saved, all the ends of the earth. For I am God and there is no other." Friends, there you go. This is God pleading to us. He's saying, to turn to him. And there's no other option at the end of the day. I've given these examples numerous times, but here it is again. Like any other option is just, I guess bowing down to creation. Any other option is if it's not Christ, it's antichrist. And I know that's, controversial to say, but that's biblical. That's what the Bible's saying. So, let me keep going here. Here's some more verses. I think there are some great examples of surrendering. Let me see. Matthew 4:22. It says, immediately they left the boat and their father and followed him. Now, I did not go deeper, but this just reminds me of the disciples. So you guys can go and confirm whether this is actually about the disciples or not. But this reminds me of him calling the disciples and saying, "Follow me." And at the end of the day, majority of them, I believe, they did just that. They left wherever they were. They left their boat and their father, and they followed him. Like, that's the type of surrender that we need to have and do. Just drop what you can do it today, wherever you are. Drop your own idea, drop your own way, drop all of that. Just drop it and surrender. Like, sometimes it's that easy. I know that sounds like, oh, it's so easy, Miracle. You're trying to make it seem like it's just super easy. But sometimes, yeah, it does come down to a choice. Like, making the decision to say, you know what, I am going to believe. Like, if you're going to proclaim to be a believer, I believe in what the Bible has to say. I believe in Jesus. What you got to do at that point is just drop every other idea. You have to do it. There's a lot of things out there where we can get, swayed by this or that, and it's easy because it's all around and it's on the TV and it's on the internet and it's all, it's easy to get caught up in the other ideas. But regardless of those things, you got to drop all that stuff and get into the Word and surrender to it. That's the start. Again, that's the bare minimum. Like, that's just the first step. And then from there, it's not just saying that you believe and then never doing nothing about it. Like, at the end of the day, again, it's going to change your entire life. The way you move, you talk, you look. I just talked about all that stuff the other day. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I am physically a different person than I was 10 years ago. And yeah, okay, everybody's growing, learning. Yeah, sure. But what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, within as well. And that's a true indicator of whether you believe or not. And that was also in one of the articles as well. It talked about basically that Jesus is Lord. Like, it's not that you have to believe he is or whatever the case is. You got to, I'm saying it wrong. So y'all just go read the articles for yourself. Actually, the article that I'm referring to is called "How Do I Make Jesus Lord of My Life?" And yeah, it starts off by telling us that he is Lord. You just have to start, basically surrender and things of that nature to that truth. But anywho, let me keep going. Mark 14:36, it says, "And he said, Abba, Father, all things are possible for you. Remove this cup from me, yet not what I will, but what you will." So even Jesus himself, God in the flesh as a human, had to humble himself to God the Father's plan. At the end of the day, Like, just like any other human, he knew what he had to face. And who would want to face such a thing? You know what I mean? Like, we barely wanted to get spankings growing up, okay? Like, who could, like, can't even imagine, going through what Jesus did. Like, and then, yeah, there may be some that in our, history and whatnot who have gone through similar things. And there's probably people going through horrific things today. But what he went through innocently for us, again, not many of us know that type of sacrifice. Not many of us would even consider to do that type of sacrifice for our family, let alone anyone else. And then you allow your own creation to treat you in such a manner like that. I mean, again, I don't know what else we could do to help break this thing down. Like, at the end of the day, it's like, again, I guess I've given the example several times, but it's like allowing my son to disrespect and beat me. Like, he's came from me, and I'm allowing him to, again, disrespect and beat me. I don't know. Like, I mean, is that humbling us today to understand, what the magnitude of what Christ has done? But even he humbled himself to the Father's will and way. And at the end of the day, yes, for all of us. But, but at the same time, he's like, Lord, Father, I know that you can do anything. And if there's some other way, I would gladly accept the other way. But again, not my will, but yours. Here's another verse to just think about, you guys. I'm going to let you guys go. It's Luke 9:23. It says, and he said to all, if anyone would come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. So, friends, this is just reminding us that this is a daily thing, daily surrender to the Lord. It's going to change every aspect of your life. You may, again, there might be physical changes happening. Definitely spiritual and mental changes will be happening. But you have to surrender to his will and way if you truly, truly want the things of God. And I mean, this is the juice today. The Bible verse of today is Matthew 5:7. It says, blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love. Your daily dose of inspiration and juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all on Monday, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. Did you know that you can support us for just 99 cents a month? That's right, friends. You can support everything that we do here at GSL for just 99 cents a month. Take a look around wherever this post is. You might see a link or maybe even a button that says support. Go there, check out the options, consider supporting us because, we enjoy bringing you all the daily inspiration as well as the weekly talk show, but we have much, much more to come. Thank you so much for the consideration. Bye-bye.